What's up, my dude? So I'm going to be talking about how I got into MX Simulator. And I feel like this is a pretty cool video idea here because everyone's got their own story, right? Everyone's got their own sort of history with MX Simulator. Some people found it way back in the day, some people got into it a little bit later, but it seems like anyone that has been into MX Simulator has either completely fell in love with it and their entire life has been consumed by it, or they just suck at it and quit playing it. Basically, that's your two kind of people out there. And I was one of those where it sucked me plumb in, dude. Like dimensional black hole vortex sucked me into this game. I don't know if I've ever experienced a game like I did the first time I really played MX Simulator. So basically it all started with Reflex. So back in like 2010 or 11, that's kind of when I got into Reflex on consoles, and I was playing that every single day for like 4 years straight. Was starting to get a little bit bored of that because I had the whole game completely maxed out on every track. So that's what brought me to there was kind of this like hype around the PC Reflex custom tracks. If any of you guys remember that, that was like back in, I would say, 2013, 14, there was like this really big movement of this PC Reflex custom track thing. And that's honestly, a lot of that is what even got me on YouTube, because I was like, I was playing Reflex every day, and then I would like get online and look at these custom tracks on the PC, which was crazy to me back then. And so I mean, Reflex really is the reason that I even found MX Simulator. It's the reason that I even super got into like YouTube stuff. So Reflex is my backbone. There's no doubt about it. But what made me actually find MX Simulator was I was looking at those Reflex custom track videos and stuff, and then I just randomly came across this one video, and it looked like somebody riding a real dirt bike, like in, the sort of cool edits that they do in real life where they'll like show the rider just kind of going around the track and stuff. I found a video that looked like that, and then I looked up at the title of the video and realized it was a fucking video game. That's when it all hit me with MX Simulator. My buddy was sitting beside me. I was like, dude, can you believe this? Doesn't that look like real life motocross? He was like, yeah, man, I don't, that is crazy. That looks identical to like someone riding in real life. We almost couldn't tell if it was like real life riding footage or if it was like a video game footage. And that's what made me get into MX Simulator. And the reason why riding on this track with this goofy no skin bike on it is because this is exactly what the game looked like to me whenever I first got into it. This is what the demo looked like. You had that old school YZ250F and YZ125 in the demo, and you didn't have any skins or anything like that. And this was kind of the first track I ever rode on right here, and it brings back crazy memories, dude. It's just unreal. But so basically that's how it all started. So then I found the game, got into it, and got on this track, and I was like, oh, the graphics. I was kind of one of those, everyday standard person that gets on MX Simulator that doesn't realize the true magic of it and just kind of like, what? I don't know about this game, man. These graphics look like they're ancient and all that kind of stuff. And I was definitely one of those people, but there was just something about it that was like cool. It just kind of kept me playing. And not only that, but I had the arcade physics on still. I didn't even know there was like arcade physics and not arcade physics in the game, and I'm pretty sure I had them on for a while and without even realizing it. But what another big crazy thing, and I have to say this right now because you can see me out here riding in the grass right here, I realized that you could make custom tracks in the demo of MX Simulator like the first day I started playing the game. So what you would do is like you could come into one of these tracks like this that was on the demo, and you could go in there and put in your dash editor like you would with the full game, and you could go in there and edit on the track. Like you could be like, well, I can't actually do it in the playback, but you could hit tab, and you could be editing on the track right there. And that was one of the first like big exposure to a motocross track editor, and that is another gigantic aspect of the game that like really sucked me in right there. That was my first day ever playing MX Simulator. I was building custom tracks over here in the grass out here in the damn golf course. Like, no joke. I was making custom motocross tracks, custom supercross tracks out here. I was building all my own shit, and that's kind of how that all started, you know? Like, the custom track aspect is in my blood. It really is. Like, I mean, I was making custom tracks in MX Simulator the very first day I started playing the game. So that was such a cool experience, just realizing I was able to do that in the demo and be able to make a custom track on one of these tracks that was already made. That was cool just to go in there and test with the jump building and all that kind of stuff. But then it warped into, like, I started actually getting on the supercross tracks that were in the demo. So even at this point, I still didn't have the full version of the game yet. And this was the first supercross track that I really got on right here. And this is when I realized that the physics system of the game, like, you actually had to turn the arcade physics off. And once I did that, and I took off from the gate and fell over instantly without even doing anything, that's when I realized, holy shit, dude, this game is something amazing. This game is something next level. I think you could compare the first time to playing MX Simulator with arcade physics off, you could compare that to, like, the first experience with anything. You know, they always talk about, oh, you'll never be able to replicate the first time you did this, first time you did that, whatever. Well, that was exactly how MX Simulator was the first time I played it without arcade physics, and that was on this supercross track right here. And just realizing, like, how much of a skill gap there truly was to the game right off the bat. That's what made me just downright, I just couldn't even believe it. I couldn't even believe there was a game like this and I hadn't found it sooner, because I was super into reflex, but I was always looking for something more. Like, you've got two kinds of people out there, right? You got some people that play motocross games just to have fun, and then you got some people that play motocross games to be serious. And I was always one of those that played it more to be like, let's see how fast you can actually go in this particular game. Like, I always tried to push the limits on these motocross games, and reflex just got to the point where I had the roof busted out on it, right? So MX Simulator was like, I busted out of the roof of reflex, and MX Simulator was like the galaxy and the universe above that roof that was unlimited. And it just, man, I don't even know how to explain the feeling I got from it, or the experience. It just how hard it was just to hit a double out of a corner, just a double on one of these little rhythm sections. Once I finally did that, it was like the most ultimate feeling. I mean, I felt like I won, you know, a whole supercross championship or something. Like, that's the joy it gave to me, just being able to hit a double out of a corner. And every little step I took with MX Simulator in getting better, it gave me that good feeling, right? So it was like, I would just be able to get around a corner without crashing, gave me that amazing feeling. Just be able to hit a double out of a corner, give me that amazing feeling, right? Just be able to go a whole lap without crashing, and I would get that amazing feeling. And then it got to the point where I was able to triple in out of the corners, and I would get that amazing feeling. And now it's to the point where it's like doing good in pro racing is what I have to do to get that amazing feeling. You know, I think that's why the pro racing in the game is so important, because the people that have really put the time into it and really put the effort into it, that's where they get their joy out of it, I feel like. And not only that, but jumping something crazy big or doing a crazy whip still gives me some kind of joy, especially like crazy scrubs and stuff. But the pro racing is really where the super fun element comes in when you've played the game for a really long time. It gives you that same kind of super joy that you got whenever you first played the game. At least it does for me anyways. But yeah, this is where it all started for Spencer Turley, man. I mean, it was like that X1B Park, and then the 2000 and I think this is 12 Phoenix right here. These were the first 2 tracks that I really rode on, and this is identical to what it looked like when I was doing it, man. Had the blue stock model fender here and everything, man. It took a while before I really started like downloading custom tracks, or I started really downloading skins and stuff like that. I mean, that took a little while. Like, I played the game for a long time in this completely default, basically graphical mode here, and but that was also back in the day when I really didn't even have like a gaming PC, so the game itself, I didn't have the graphics nowhere near maxed out. So that on top of everything else, I feel like some people that get into this game, they don't really, they're not like super into PC gaming. So I think that like MX Simulator is what really got me into PC gaming. It truly is. And so I feel like, do this track, oh my gosh, the memories. Like, just going around, I take myself back to that day, and it feels like yesterday. But I think about all the hours and all the races and all the time and just like the sheer hours I put into the game since then. It's just an unbelievable journey that you go through with this game that I will never forget the feelings I got in MX Simulator. My first pro race, making it in, I think I qualified like 43rd or something. If you guys don't know, they only take top 40, so I got like super lucky, and like, some people must just not have showed up or whatever. Anyways, I got into there where I could actually race, and I think I ended up getting second in my semi. This was like Daytona 15, I think. And this was my very first pro race. Got second in the semi, made it into the main event. That was just like just the certain things you experience in this game. I'll just never forget it. I mean, it's like real life racing experiences that I've had with the game, it feels like, honestly. And some of the pro races and just some stuff that you just don't forget, you know. It's an amazing, just downright amazing experience of a game. I know I've thanked JLV multiple times, whatever. I used to send him emails back in the day whenever I first started playing the game. I was like, dude, this is such an amazing game. Oh my gosh, man, you're so amazing. I can't believe you made this game. This is crazy. Like, I was one of those kids back in the day. You know, so I've probably definitely overdone it there with the emails and stuff, thanking him for the game. But yeah, it's just I don't even don't know what else to say, man. Just an unreal experience. Built my YouTube channel off of this. You know, it's become my life in a lot of different ways, man. So, and it will do that to you if you get into MX Simulator. I'm telling you. You know, a lot of people, they get caught up in the graphics. They get caught up in some of this other little shit, and they're completely missing the point of MX Simulator. They don't realize, like, the life-changing capabilities that it really has to it. They don't even understand, man. But it hit me pretty quickly when I got into the game. You know, it was like a very quick thing for me. And once I realized that, I mean, it was history from there. Like, I never looked at the game as being a crappy graphical game. I never... The downfalls of the game just didn't even come close to the positives of the game. Like, the positives totally outweighed any sort of negative that the game had to it. Like, basically no big rut system back in the day, nothing like that in the game. I didn't even realize that shit because the bike felt 1,000 times more realistic than any other motocross game. So it was like, it was laughable to say, oh, well, this arcade game has ruts, but this simulator doesn't. It was like, I don't even care because it's a simulator. It's a real dirt bike in a virtual world. You just can't compete with that. You can't do it. So, that's the true joy of MX Simulator. That's what I get from it. That's where it all comes from. That's why I play it nearly every single day, and I do play it every day now. I'm really getting back into it. It's just so much fun to me, and the no limits to the game, the no end to the skill gap. And even if you feel like you've totally maxed out the skill gap and you're getting the fastest lap times of anybody on a track or whatever, well, then it's how good can you race? And not only that, which is a whole nother element, but not only that, it's how good can you manage the nerves? How good can you race in a situation where someone ran into you in a race. You may be the fastest guy, but let's just say someone ran into you during the race, and then you ended up crashing 3 or 4 more times. Being able to hone that focus back in and actually finish the race well, that's a whole nother skill to it. But above all that, not only do you have to do well in one race situation, but you have to do well in multiple races to be able to win a championship. And then you get to the point where it's like, okay, then you got to be able to win multiple championships. So there's so many more layers past just being the quote-unquote fastest guy in the game. You know what I mean? Like, there's way more to it than that. So that's what's cool about it. Like, that's what feels like such an unlimited skill gap, because the bikes are always changing. They're updating. The tracks are always changing. You're getting on new tracks. You never feel like you're getting stale with the tracks. There's always new content coming out, new gear, new bike skins, new bike dynos, new bike models, new updates to the game, terrain deformation updates. It just goes on and on. Suspension updates, bike handling and stuff like that updates. Everything about it gets completely updated over time. But like back in the day, see, I didn't even really know about stability and all that kind of stuff. It was crazy whenever I really started understanding that sort of thing and how to like work your stability down slowly and all the little things you go through when you first get into MX Simulator. It's just the funnest experience, going from like being really terrible at the game and then getting really somewhat good at the game. I started on keyboard, which was crazy. Can't believe I ever did that, but I feel like that made it even more cool, because it made it like even a longer learning experience, because I started the game on keyboard, played it on keyboard for like, I don't know, a month or two, and like I could rock around a supercross track fairly decently on a keyboard, but then I finally got a controller for it, and then it was like another level of learning the game. So like I took it like about as slow as you possibly could in that sense, and then started racing on the online servers with people and totally worked up through the ranks of that, from complete beginner to beating everyone on it. It worked up from the scales of that, and then started pro racing and then got into that, and that's kind of all the history I've had with the game, man. But I feel like I'm directly in my prime of the game, directly in my best mode that I've ever been in. Like I've kind of went through different stages where I would like feel like I had my stuff really set right and felt like I was doing good on the bike, and then I would kind of, there was, especially last year, 2017 Supercross season, that was when I really started trying to change a lot of things, and it really just didn't work out for the better. And I feel like I actually went somewhat backwards last year, but now I've brought everything back to where it was before, and now it's go time. Now I'm ready for it. So we'll see how it all turns out. It's just so much fun, man. Like the excitement you get before A1 racing in this game. You think about it like a day before it even happens, and you start getting excited about it, and it's that excitement that it gives to me. It's like what a real life race would give to me. That's just such an amazing thing about this game. It's like, it's like you go to sleep, you feel like it's Christmas morning. Like when you're a kid, you feel like the next day is going to be Christmas morning. That's kind of how it feels like whenever I've got a pro race coming up the next day for me. It's just so much fun, and like, you're nervous about it. You're like, you don't really know what's going to happen, but you got to remember, like, it's all just fun, man. You're just having fun at it, and that's what's so cool. It just, the amount of joy that it can give to you, whether or not you even qualify in, or whether or not you make it into the main event, or whether or not you even do good in the main event, or whatever the case may be. Like, it's just a fun experience, and you have to enjoy it, because you do get to experience it at that point in time, and be glad that there's enough people that still play the game, and you can still enjoy it, and that sort of thing. So either way, man, that's how I found MX Simulator. That's how I got into it. Definitely let me know down below how you guys got into the game. I would love to see some of those comments. I think it'd be really cool. But either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.